Gentlemen, it's band day.
It's ban day.
Rip
Yeah.
that band-aid off.
We fixed some formats.
Just a few. You will be happy to know on this band day, Thassa's Oracle made it. She is going to live in your decks a little bit longer. Yeah, blue players rejoice. But not everybody on our ban list was safe. There's a few things that we did not see coming. I know you guys want to talk about it. The internet is talking about it. It's been very hard to not communicate about the unbans. But before we get there, we got to talk about some homework. All right? Start off. Explorer and Pioneer. Upon some Googling, we found out they're one and the same. Arena apparently just needs to have fancy pants titles. This little element elk here is dying of dysentery on our MTG Oregon Trail exploration. Pioneers, talk to me.
Yeah,
What did this do?
This card's just free. It's this card wasn't really doing anything super impactful besides being a 5/5 beater. But the deck restriction of having no double pips in your deck, it just apparently doesn't exist. Aspiring Spike, very notable Magic content creator, modern pioneer, whole jazz, says when he's brewing a deck, and he's one of the best brewers in the world right now, IMO. He says whenever he's building a deck, he does like a Gigantha check, and 99% of the time it's passed. He's not really sad that he's not getting to play double pip cards. In history's past, this was, I feel like, a lot harder when we had more impactful double pip cards. Like if we were to go back to like 2018, this card wasn't legal back then, but we went back to 2018. Jund was playing, 3 to 4 copies of Liliana the Veil, which is double black pip. Really important card in the meta at the time. So in series past, this deck building restriction would have been hard, but it's no longer hard.
It's easy.
We did not have this on our prediction list. How did it not hit our hot takes?
Trevor, you want to take the lead on this one? Or you?
Yeah, I'll take it. I think that it just wasn't expected because there are more impactful cards in Pioneer. Like Treasure Cruise, one that was on our list. Treasure Cruise, I feel like, is more impactful. I get that it is a 5/5 body that you pay 3 to put in your hand, and you technically can always have that 8-card hand. But end of the day, it's an awkward ban in my opinion.
Yeah, I think kind of building off of what Trevor was saying, like it feels awkward because I feel like I didn't hear a lot of this card in the ban, ban this card. I know that some people had said, oh, well, this card is free, so we should probably just get rid of it. Much like Lutri and Commander, emergency ban, but it was just going to be free in every blue-red deck.
Right.
It's fine. However,
Lutri is very different from this card. Copying everything in your singleton deck.
Yeah, right. But this card just in Pioneer and other formats, because I'm sure it'll come up later.
Oh yeah,
it was very much just free. It was not hard to do, and so when you always have an 8th card in hand, that's almost Thoughtseize proof. It makes mana. That's pretty good.
Sure.
And plus, it's just a 5/5 beater, so it's just. Am I sad to see this go? Not really. Am I happy that it's gone? Not really.
And are we surprised that Wizards added this to the list? Because again, we didn't really talk about it. I feel like the conversations that we had about our predictions for Pioneer were way more impactful. So is it kind of one of those, maybe Wizards just didn't want to ban what we suggested because it is like the meta?
Yeah, it was our video that they saw that actually made the bans. And they were like, oh, they want these ones? We'll give them some, not all.
Oh, shit. They guessed all of them. Quick, change it up, guys.
And Nadu? Wait.
Oh, ooh, spicy.
I'm pretty surprised that this one hit the ban list just because I feel like I didn't hear a little traction of it. And, I feel like this isn't changing the meta at all in Pioneer. Like, that's what it feels awkward about, is that it's not really changing anything. I don't think the decks that are not playing double pip cards are now going to play double pip cards. And then on top of this, it didn't fix the I'm gonna say the Phoenix problem.
Right.
I don't necessarily think that Phoenix is a problem. I think it's just a little too consistent. Kind of going back to what we were talking about last week
Right.
about Boros energy and modern.
Yeah.
It being just super consistent. So
Mhm.
kind of my 2 cents on the matter.
Before we dive into that next question, because we have been talking about our previous ones, link it down in the description. I should have specified that way earlier. If you feel very lost right now in our conversation, you should check that video out. Very cool. This will make a lot more sense. So you kind of mentioned we don't think it's really changing the format, and we talked about those other meta types like the Phoenix and stuff like that. So needless to say, this is not something that is flooding the community. I mean, there are people obviously that are playing it. Needless to say, there's a reason it got banned, but this is not like you said, this is not a meta. Would you say, like, do you see these often when you guys are playing in these formats enough to the point where it does warrant it? Like, is this a norm that you see at the table?
Yeah, I'll take over on this one. I played substantially more Pioneer.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, this is a card you see a lot. I mean, and you like play against somebody and they go like, "Hey, I'm gonna reel the Giganta as my companion," because you have to at the beginning of the game.
Mhm.
And so like I'm pretty used to it. And like a lot of the times when you see that card now,
Mhm.
it doesn't really tell you what you're playing against. In seasons past, companions were pretty. If you showed a companion, you knew what they were playing, like almost instantly.
Right.
It was pretty lucrative, but then people kind of noticed that in deck building, like I said earlier, not using any double pip cards, and the card's free.
Yeah.
Like at that point, so it's pretty not uncommon. It's pretty common. I had words. It's pretty common to see
Words are
this
hard.
card on. Yeah, it's pretty common to see this card on a Pioneer event, though, if not 500 copies of it.
I have an awkward question, but it's very entertaining that you guys were playing Arena before we started this. Do you think this had a stronger impact potentially on the Explorer side, less than the Pioneer? I don't know if there's a large difference between what you're seeing in digital versus what you're seeing at actual like tournaments, at card shops and stuff. Do you think it was more in one set than the other? And just because they are essentially the same, they just needed to balance the formats out, right? You can't have it banned in paper and not in digital or vice versa.
I think digital had a small part to play in it. Magic primarily gets their data from online formats. It's just because it's in their computer, it's in their system.
Right.
The classic case of this is there's an old combo deck in Modern called KCI combo, and online it never did super well. However, on paper it was doing extremely well, and it's because of the difficulty of how it's played on paper. There's a lot of loops that you have to do that would equate to a lot of clicks on
Right.
online, and
Sure.
so yeah, I think so. Like a part of it, yes. However, I think we've had a lot of coverage and a lot of data come out of paper events more recently, in my opinion.
Right.
And so I think paper had a lot to do with it. Obviously, online has a lot to do with it. So I think we've come closer to the 50-50 in seasons past than we are currently, or we're in the past segment.
Sure. Trevor, you think the same opinion, more or less?
Yeah, I think Carson nailed it.
Okay. What do we got next? Explorer ban. We already talked about this. The Legacy ban.
Get that frog out of here.
You looked into the crystal ball that was Legacy and you had a victory. Like I said, if you haven't checked it out, you guys should go check out the other video. It talks about this frog and why he is so freaking gross. But needless to say, let's talk about the curveball, or at least the curveball to me. I did talk to Trevor a little bit about this. We broke the rules and had a conversation about the hot takes, and he said the Vexing Bauble actually makes a bit of sense. Now I have to ask, why is this banned? I can read and see it's good, but please explain to me why it was enough to warrant the ban in Legacy.
Are we talking about Vexing Bauble?
We are talking about
Yes.
Vexing Bauble.
We don't need to talk about the frog. We won't talk about the frog anymore.
Fuck the frog.
As somebody who's a Vexing Bauble abuser. You know,
Yeah.
I'm ready
You
to
sure
talk about.
are.
I'm ready
You
to
sure
talk about
are.
it when you're done. I'll let Trevor run with it, then I'll talk about it.
Okay, I'm gonna go over the main reasons why it was banned. In my opinion, This is a Force of Will format. This 1-mana artifact doesn't let you do Force of Will things. It is also a Daze format, which is free. A Force Negation, which is free. You also can get this off of Urza Saga, which is how Casey's getting it because he's a dirty Urza Saga player.
Urza did
Um,
nothing wrong, but that's a
yeah.
lore video for another day.
There's also this card hit so many decks whenever it was printed. It hit the Storm decks, it hit the Control decks, it hit the mid-range decks.
Hey, let's be honest. It hit your favorite Legacy deck.
It did hit my favorite Legacy deck,
real.
but so did Bowmaster. Bowmaster also hit my Legacy deck.
Ew.
R.I.P. 8cast. But it hit so many cards that are relevant in Legacy, and it can go into any deck, which is the bigger problem. You don't even have to be wanting to play Vexing Bauble, but you're playing it as a one of in your deck, and you're probably playing a set of Urza Saga, so you can guarantee finding it.
I mean, I was playing this in a Force of Will deck. I find this card. So, lo and behold, spoiler alert, I'm a degenerate combo player. I always will be. It's just the way of life. If I'm not playing hard control, I'm doing the most degenerate thing. Or attempting to, at least. Combo fizzles a lot. So this card is really good in like all of the combo decks in Legacy, because in Legacy, one of the major things that is stopping you is Force of Will, Daze, Force Negation, these free counter spells. And so being able to play Vexing Bauble on one, or if you're playing the colorless combo deck, which I've been a really big fan of recently, you find it off your Urza Saga, which means it cannot be countered. So you sandbag 2 or 3 turns and get a free Urza Saga or Vexing Bauble just to go off. Like, it's actually, this card's insane. One, it stops all of the free counter magic in the format, or free spells in general. And then on top of that, worst comes to worst, this card is just a draw card.
Yeah, for sure. And as someone that plays Force of Will, I hate this card.
I love it.
I stick firmly to my Force of Will and cuddle it like a little blanket. As a person that's never seen this card before and doesn't play this format, why are we only seeing it in Legacy?
So it's not. So Legacy just has a higher density of free spells.
Right.
I mean, we have Chrome Mox, Mox Opal,
Lion's Eye Diamond,
Mox
Daze, Diamond.
All these free spells, regardless of how you're doing the free spells. And that deck just actually shuts it. This card actually just shuts it off. So it's hitting more cards in Legacy than it is in almost any other format.
Okay.
I think the only other format that I think it would hit more cards in is Vintage, and that's just because most of your artifact mana is like free.
I'm pretty sure Vexing Bauble is already restricted in Vintage too.
Which basically means it's banned.
Yep.
It's like
you only get to play one.
You only get to play one.
Sure.
Yeah, so this card's really good. I mean, I see this card a little bit in Modern. I play a copy of it sometimes in my Amulet Titan sideboard.
Gross.
Stop Solitude.
Gross.
Yeah, it's basically, does your deck lose or get really impacted by some sort of free interaction? That's the kind of deck that you're going to want to play this card.
I'm going to skip over my next set of questions because I feel like we covered them significantly in that. So that's enough of that. And I want to make sure you guys have plenty of time to talk about the unbans. Modern update. I'm just going to show these. We've talked about these. If you guys want to elaborate, I really don't think it's necessary. I will note, though, I find it very entertaining that we did our video so early, and Thursday, as someone that is just now looking into Magic content, and kind of like, because we're new, right? We're figuring out when do we post and how relevant are we when we post. Seeing people finally post about the One Ring on Thursday? What?
Feels good.
When we talked about that Monday, good job, guys. And you nailed both of these for the modern bans. So, congrats.
Because we're good looking guys.
Yeah, that is exactly it. Like I said, do you guys have anything you want to touch on that is new from our previous video that you might want to talk about while we're here?
It's not related to Modern, but Commander players pick up those One Rings.
Ooh, true.
Because they're going to be down to like $35.
I'll definitely be probably picking up a place.
Yep.
Now
did-
that this card is banned.
I did not
Yep.
think about that. I actually might go scoop one up.
Yeah.
I think they're already
Bye
down to like
bye.
40.
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere. I saw one for 35 this morning.
Yeah, they're
Mm.
so cheap now.
Yeah, I mean, so like, I have nothing really to add, and I mean, we already talked about Gigantha. It got banned for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
In Pioneer. So I mean, like, I'm a little sad to see the card go, but I mean, like, I'm also not. So, other than that, F the One Ring. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm so tired of this card existing.
100%.
This card was legal for 18 months.
Also, F the Raptor.
Yeah.
That dinosaur did not deserve to be printed.
Get it out. Get it out.
Well, congratulations, boys. I applaud you for that. And with that, let's get to the main course, the main attraction, the talk of the hour, right? The unbans. Because this had you guys losing your minds. I will let you guys know, I did not prompt a Q&A. I just asked that you go into some sort of order. Let's start with the Mox Opal, then you can do the Green Zens, the Faithless Looting, and then the Twins. I'm going to let you guys nerd out.
Am I allowed to?
All right.
I'll start with the Mox Opal if you want to get into the Green Sun afterwards.
I feel like we're going diagonal. I feel like you, or unless if you want me to go into Splinter Twin.
Oh,
I can do all 4 of these cards. So I just want to know which cards you want.
In Trevor's
I'll do Looting and
defense,
Mox Opal.
I was going to say, hold on. In Trevor's defense, he did say the Splinter Twin last week, and I told him no more cards, and I took it out. So
I
technically,
did say the twin.
the twin
It's
was
okay.
his.
Trevor and I have been talking about Twin for like 2 weeks now.
Longer than that. We've been talking about twin for
Probably a year.
yeah, it's
3
been a
years.
minute. Well, whenever Modern Horizons started coming out, because
Yeah, probably.
twin just it's so underwhelming compared.
I
to
know the
everything
history of like all of these, so I'm ready to talk about whatever. Trevor, I'll let you start. Just go tap me in.
Oh yeah, I'll tap you in. Let's start with the Mox Opal.
Mhm.
My baby, the one card that I'm so excited to be banned or unbanned. Oh,
I think you had it right the first time. I think banned.
No. It's getting off that bandwagon. Bandwagon.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Insert drum tremble thing. Editor.
Drum roll.
No,
but
yeah.
there you
There
go. Symbols.
Mox Opal got banned during a rough time. The Hardened Scales Affinity meta did nothing wrong. It died for KCI sins.
Are we going through the Great Depression that was modern for Magic? Good lord.
You're getting your dates mixed up, dude.
Did I have it backwards?
Yeah, KCI got banned first.
It's
So KCI was like the premier Mox Opal deck. Then it became Hardened Scales Affinity, and then we had a little deck called Oko Urza pile.
I love Oko.
Hey, I love Oko as much as the next person, but in competitive formats, that card is outrageous.
Oh, 100%. I do not disagree.
But yeah, so Mox Opal got banned because like Lord Hyatt Art Urza.
Urza.
Whatever the formatted creature, came out. People were pairing this in a deck with Oko, and so Urza tap my food tokens for mana, tap my Mox Opal for mana.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, so it just became a really
times.
degenerate. Oh, it was a dark time.
Modern went through the shit for like 2 years.
Yeah,
Sure.
Which is why Faithless Looting was banned.
Yeah.
Oh, that Modern was traumatizing then.
So
yeah, from 2018 to like 2019, 2020, Modern was in a really bad place.
It was rough.
So really quick to get you guys on track. Mox Opal, right? We're seeing prices already increase. Trevor was heartbroken and devastated. Where now that Mox Opal is unbanned and people are opening up their binders, where are we seeing these within Modern? Where are they finding their homes?
I'll let Trevor talk. Yeah, I was
Hardened Scales. Wurza.
Yep.
Ooh.
There's one that you're forgetting.
Is there one?
There's 2 big ones that I would say benefited.
I feel like it might get played in the grinding station deck. I know
It will. It will. That deck just gets nerfed because the One Ring is banned. That was like a very good One Ring deck. I think it's still playable. It's still playable.
I still think it's playable too, because this is just you tap it for mana, then you sacrifice it to mill cards, which is just good.
The other big one, which has been a deck off the meta for a while, but I think this might be able to push it back into the meta, is the Hammer Time variants.
Oh, I did forget about Hammer Time.
It's free mana in the Hammer Time piles.
Hammer Time's just so underwhelming whenever... It's good when it's good, but it's bad.
It's Infect.
Who doesn't like Infect?
Everyone.
I came home today to my husband saying he's building dinosaurs with Infect. He's a monster.
That's like zombie dinosaurs. Even though they don't have the creature type zombie, it's still sick.
It's gross. It's means for divorce.
It's means for divorce.
Green Sun Zenith. Let's talk there. This is a cool card. I actually really like the Zenith cards in like my commander setup. We were talking about this. This seems very rude because it doesn't go to graveyard. It shuffles into library to say hello again.
I was gonna say, I think we picked one up originally for you whenever you had Marin built, so I'm pretty sure you have one.
No, it didn't go into Marin. It did hit a deck recently though. We have bought one of these fairly.
They're like $50
No, blue. We did blue Zeniths.
Oh.
And it is in my mono blue deck.
Okay.
Regardless.
I love a blue Sun Zenith.
Carson, hit us off with the Green Suns.
Green Sun Zenith, man, this card's incredible. So for green and X, you get to tutor a creature from your library, where X is the mana cost. It's very good. Green creature has to be a green creature. A lot of people sometimes it's because the more popular Finale of Devastation in Commander allows you to tutor for any creature.
Sure.
So this is just a creature tutor straight out of the deck. You just play Green Sun Zenith and boom, it's on the field now. It being repeatable is pretty good. However, there does come a small sacrifice with this one. Is that it does cost one additional green. So depending on what your deck is trying to do with it, it can be hard.
It's green. Come on, we're doing ramp things. It's fine.
Hey, yeah.
What does that 6-drop creature that you have on your desk do?
Let me Oh, this guy?
Ooh. We talked about him. He's still banned.
Well,
that guy right there.
Yeah, I mean,
what about his friends?
Mean these guys?
Oh shit, he brought the whole posse.
These guys?
Those guys right there.
These?
What do they do? What do they do?
Oh, I mean, Primeval Titan. Go watch last week's episode. It'll tell you everything about this card.
What a tease!
I'm kidding. Primeval Titan, when it ETB, search 2 lands out of your library. They enter the battlefield tap. Nothing crazy, right? However, in the context of Modern, we have Amulet of Vigor, which is 1 mana artifact that says, whenever something enters the battlefield tap, untap it. So we play this with bounce lands to make a bunch of mana.
Gross.
So, it's not out of the ordinary that on turn 2 or on turn 3, I have 6 to 7 mana.
And we're worried about that green mana pip up in the top corner. Yeah, that's the real problem, is the one green mana. Once again, green does ramp.
Sometimes you're choked on mana when you're making 6 mana on turn 3.
When you build a bad
being
deck.
Choked. 6 mana on turn 3 is being choked up on mana.
Yeah, I can't cast I can't get prime time with Just saying. No, this card is very good. So the reason why this card was on the ban list is just because a repetition. The card was too strong way back in the day. So there were some green creature toolbox strategies in the format that would have used this card or play a lot of this card. So it just adds a level of consistency. I mean, in the context of like my deck Amulet Titan, it's more copies of Amulet. I don't have to have it, or I don't have to have Titan in hand. I can have this to find it.
Right.
So it's just a all around pretty I would say tame card, but it does allow you to tutor the green creature that you want. I mean, prime examples: Collector Oof, Endurance.
The faces that Trevor is making right now are priceless.
Azusa, Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
I do like Azusa. Question.
Cultivator Colossus.
Question, because I don't remember, and help me refresh. And those who just got done watching the previous video can slap my hand that I don't remember from a week ago. Modern is the one that primarily has tutors banned, correct? Or which one was it?
Legacy.
Legacy.
Yeah.
Legacy
Okay.
has a lot of them banned, or all
Okay.
the good ones.
Sure,
all the black ones.
All the black ones.
I was gonna say this would be a fix for if they were banned, but let my tutors run free.
Your tutors aren't legal in this format either.
True.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody asked. Faithless looting. Let's move on.
The card that died for the GAC.
Dude, arguably the card that people know me for Modern outside of Primeval Titan.
Yeah. When you were doing some Is It Phoenix shenanigans. Okay, how sad were you whenever this card got banned?
Oh, I cried. Straight up. I'm not even gonna lie. I actually cried.
Career was over.
Well, it was one of the first. So that deck was like one of the first decks I ever started to do like really well with. It's the one that launched me into my competitive playing career. So I had a lot of love for this deck. I loved every part of it. It played a tempo deck when it needed to. It played an aggro deck when it needed to. The Blue Red Phoenix from 2019.
Sure.
For context for the viewers. But I mean, so like this card was like one of the coolest cards in the format. It built some of the coolest decks. Dredge is like no other deck you'll ever play. Hollow One, same one. The deck that was built on variants but was very consistent. And then Blue Red Phoenix, which was like a tempo grindy deck. It basically looks like the Pioneer deck but with better cards.
Sure.
But yeah, so like this card I played a lot of in a lot of different strategies to finish answering Trevor's question. But yeah, like I cried, but it's not because I found out that Faithless Looting was banned. It was that 25 people texted me that morning saying, "I'm sorry, dude."
Oh no. It's like a death in the family, but it's for your deck.
Homie got a funeral text, but it was just because his card got banned.
And I think it was pretty like close to where my birthday was. I think it was like an August ban. And I had just played like a PTQ with the deck. Like the day before. Yeah, so like the day before I play in a PTQ, I go hang out with some friends that night because it's like somewhere close around my birthday or something like that. I turned 19. And then the next morning, as I'm waking up from having a good night with my friends, boom, 25 texts saying, "I'm sorry." And then that's when, lo and behold, when I found out.
Is this
but you know what?
PTQ?
Merry Christmas. It's unbanned.
Merry Christmas. Was this the PTQ that you, Johnny, and I went to?
Yeah, where you played.
I played Soul Sister whenever I was doing a Zorius Orzhov shenanigans.
Yeah.
You were a filthy Orzhov player. You have no room to talk in previous
life.
All
the life.
Yeah.
I was going turn 2 6/6 with lifelink. It was good. And flying.
I like that you chose this art, by the way. Casey, did you play this accursed art?
No, so this printing of the card was not out when I built the deck, so I owned OG in this
Dark Ascensions.
Or Dark Ascension. Yeah, Dark Ascension.
If I find this accursed art, would you like it? I opened a lot of Strixhaven. It might be in Japanese for all I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say they'd be in Japanese. They
might be.
If you have one of these in Japanese, I will take it.
I'll surf for it.
Also, if you do have the Japanese alternate art, I will also take it.
I will search for them just for you, my friend.
Oh, sick! Yeah, it's a card that I literally like had in a shadow box very briefly for like a while. It was like a shadow box that like sat next to me like right here, just like crying about it.
It's like when you have Grandpa's urns put up on the mantle. Yeah. You're like, this was my faithless looting.
Yeah, I know. It's Oh, you ever seen that picture of Wolverine and he's like got the picture frame and he's just sad about
Yes.
That was me.
Yes. So now that this is unbanned, will you be rebuilding that deck and will it still be relevant?
I think there are a lot of decks that will be relevant with looting unbanned. I don't think it'll necessarily be the Blue Red Phoenix deck. I think that deck might be a little too slow or lack super good threats. Basically, the creature suite for that deck will look like 4th Arclight Phoenix and 4th Demilich, probably. And it'll just be all in on like getting these creatures out. And I typically think that kind of strategy is bad in Modern. And so I think it'll be a little slow. And then also Modern has this long history of graveyard decks are really bad. Let's take all of our graveyard hate out.
Sure.
Oh, graveyard decks were only bad because we had all the hate in our sideboard. Now we got to put it back in. So it's always kind of like an influx. I think the primary deck that does well with this, and shout out to my two homies of mine, James and Nate Cat, as Dredge players.
Insert cat throwing up gif.
Yeah, we could do that.
Dredge is a really gross deck, but it's like one of the most unique decks in all of Magic since it doesn't really cast anything and it's doing everything out of their graveyard.
Right.
Looting was always pretty much, in my opinion, Dredge was like the best looting deck. Another deck that benefits from this that I think could be very good again is the Hollow One strategy. Hollow One is a 5-mana artifact that costs 0 if you discard 3 cards in a turn.
Sure.
So, lo and behold, my favorite deck, I think, is the worst one. I think every other Faithless Looting deck just got really good, though.
Sure.
So, that's my 2 cents. I would love to cast this card in Modern again, though.
Splinter Twins. Trevor, I'm going to have you take the floor first because, like I said, this was originally your take that I took from you last week.
You just took it and you napped it and you said, nah, dog. Splinter Twin unbanned. I feel like it's just too slow for Modern now. I feel like you're just doing better things. Energy is gone, but Splinter Twin, it's a 4-drop. 4-drops are really. It's a 4-drop that requires you to have a creature, and you also need to be able to protect that creature. And there's cards like Solitude, and there's also your cards that counterspell. There's also so many Torp Orb effects that are just going to be relevant because Splinter Twin, the cards that it's notable with is Pestermite and Deceiver Exarch. There was also the Teamer Twin list that was around for like a month before Twin got banned, and that was playing Crisis?
Is it Peregrine Crisis? Basically, it has the same text as the other one, but it has green and blue in its mana cost.
Okay.
Bounding Crisis.
There you go.
And that one has flash, so you can do that at your opponent's end step.
Well, Deceiver or Pestermite also has flash.
Does it? Deceiver has flash. Deceiver has
flash. There we go. Pestermite doesn't. It's one of them.
So if this is so slow, why is this not a card that we just had die in the unban? Was there people, or die in the ban list? Was there people that wanted this unbanned and they were like, it's not broken anymore, so there was a demand for it, we'll let it go?
This is the meme of unbans.
Oh.
Yeah. Out of every card in the last like 3 or 4 years.
Yep. Since 26 or probably since 2018, whenever the Modern Horizon sets came out, people were like, "Oh, well, we've power creeped so much, just unban Twin." And Modern Horizons 1, I think, came out in 2018.
Yeah, I was around there, 2018, 2019.
2019.
Yeah, so I mean, like, this card has been, like Trevor said, the meme of the century. Everybody's been like, unbanned Twin, this deck is bad. It's because it's an A+B combo deck, and so it's easy to interact with. I mean, additionally, like, if your creature is the Pestermite's a 3/1, so, like, it's pretty easy to remove.
Sure.
It's a 2/1. It's not even a 3/1. It has
worse.
even worse stats.
Even worse.
And Deceiver Exarch's a 1/4. Like, the stats are just so bad on the card.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just so much efficient interaction now. I mean, we literally have like a pseudo Force of Will and Flare of Denial.
Sure.
Just sack a blue creature, bop. I mean, there's Force of Vigor, which will remove the enchantment at instant speed. I mean, we have Edicts.
Solitude.
We have Solitude. I mean, we just have so much. There's so many things we can do to interact with this card, which makes it pretty unplayable, but it's definitely like a tier 2.5, tier 2 deck. It'll do well at FNMs, some like more casual scenes.
Sure.
However, I do not think in 2025 we will be seeing many, if any, Splinter Twins winning any events.
But what I'm hearing is we need to uproar on the internet for 5 years, and then we'll get Nadu, we'll get Lotus, we'll get Mana Crypt. What I'm hearing is there's light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to make it a meme, and I think the internet has done a splendid job of that so far. So maybe we'll get it in a little bit sooner than 5 years. You know.
We put Nadu's head on a Mana Crypt and Lotus, Jeweled Lotus. We just make it a little bionicle.
We actually deck out a crypt with jewels that is in a memorial to Nadu. It'll make its own card. We'll go back to Ixalan because we didn't just go there recently. Aether Drift spoil. I don't know. Maybe you whiz by a Nadu.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
He's driving
Nadu
in a
card?
casket.
Bring Nadu back in Commander. Don't bring Nadu back in other formats. Bring him
No.
back in
All formats. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, I've played against the Nadu deck in Modern. That was rough.
Yeah, it's pretty uninteractable, pretty unfun.
Well, and it's also it's not deterministic. So you're just like, do you win?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I have heard that come out of your mouth so many times, Commander. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that was the ban and the unban. If you liked watching this video, go check out a couple more. Casey, I would love to do more videos with you. You are a fountain of knowledge. We'll have to find spots for you to guest star in again. Anybody want to do a sign off?
I mean, I would just say I'd love to come back. This was a lot of fun.
For sure.
Well, that's gonna be it, guys. If you want to see more Magic content, we have a couple videos that we've posted. We've got our ban predictions. You should check that one out. It's pretty good. We got some spicy takes in there. We also have some archetypes. We have spoilers. Don't be afraid to take a peek. We also have D&D content.
And hopefully more content in the future.
Yep.
Who knows? There's lots of tabletop out there.
No, only Magic and D&D. That's it.
Bye-bye.